And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC Channel 25. Dean Beckman and Sports Information Director Donny Nadeau back with another Cardinals Nest, the show devoted exclusively to St. Mary's University and its athletic programs. Today we feature once again the women's basketball team. We have Coach Mandy Pearson and Shelby Auseth, one of the stars from Wednesday night's big win over St. Ben's. And Mandy, and thanks for being on the program today. Mandy, we're going to start off with you today because your team is now guaranteed a spot in the conference tournament, which is a great accomplishment. I know one of the goals that you set for the team at the start of the season, but now that it is realized, even though we still have one regular season game left, tell us your thoughts about reaching the playoffs.
It's good. You know, it's the second year in a row, and it's great for our program, it's great for our school, and I think we're now at the point where we don't have to set it as a goal anymore, and it becomes more of an expectation, which is where our coaching staff has wanted us to be.
And you look at Wednesday's game against St. Ben's, really kind of a playoff atmosphere. It was a very important game in terms of seeding, in terms of really the chase for the conference championship. Talk a little bit about the atmosphere and how the preparation went for that game.
We prepared the same way that we always do. You know, one of our goals as a coaching staff is to never place more importance on one game versus another. I think our team knew it was a pretty big game in terms of seeding, but the same goes with every single game that we play in the season. Because we play every team twice, every game is very important. So we prepared the same way that we always do.
And Shelby, how about from your standpoint, as a freshman, you know, the first time through this kind of situation where there's a lot on the line, how did you handle Wednesday night?
I don't know. I just pretty much went out there and played, and kind of knew what I had to do, and just kind of step up and help the team out.
Now, Shelby, to say you went out there and played is a bit of an understatement, all right? Because you came off the bench and you were able to contribute 12 points, but those were 12 big points. And with Brittany Begrowitz injured now, somebody has to step up, and it looks like you were the player, at least on Wednesday night. So tell us about coming in and really finding your offensive game, because you were certainly very confident going in there and shooting the basketball.
I mean, I didn't really do anything different. I just kind of went in and played. I didn't really obviously once you start making your shots and whatnot, you're going to be more confident, and that's just kind of what happened last night.
And Mandy, I would imagine you probably were the least surprised person out there, because you probably see this in practice every day, and she hasn't gotten tons of minutes during the course of the season, but now with an injury, getting more playing time. But I would imagine you sort of expected her to go out and perform like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody asked me after the game, you know, surprised about Shelby, a freshman coming off the bench, and it was a news reporter. And I just made the comment, well, I've been telling you all season that we have some people on the bench that could step in and contribute just as well as some of the people that are playing. And now you got to see that tonight. So, no, I mean, it wasn't a surprise to our staff. It was not a surprise to our team. And that's what makes us so strong this year, is that we have depth and we have people that are not on the court that can step in and do some great things for our team. And it makes practices more competitive. And it's great for us. That's what you need to be successful in this league, is you need that depth, and you need to be able to pull people off the bench.
Shelby, how does the coaching staff sort of prepare you to be ready to come in like that off the bench and to play your best and not be afraid to take shots and just go out there and do what you know you're capable of doing?
I don't know. They just work with the whole team, and in practice, you just kind of do the same thing, prepare for everything, I guess.
And Coach Pearson, is it difficult to have a player who normally is on the bench for either parts of the season or parts of the game ready to go? What's sort of your tactic with making sure they are ready when their name is called upon?
You know, we don't really, treat anybody any differently. Just keep working hard at practice, try and communicate as much as we can with them. And I guess it's just an expectation that regardless of your role, you're ready to go. And I hope that they know that. You know, we don't talk about it a lot, but we've been very fortunate to to always have people prepared, mentally prepared, physically prepared to go whenever their name is called.
You know, I know you're going to immediately answer this by saying you're worried about Saturday, you're focused on Augsburg, but as you look to next week and to the playoffs, we still don't know when you're going to play. You may play Tuesday, you may play Thursday. We do know that it's at home, a place that you guys have been very successful. Talk a little bit about that home court advantage and what's made that so important as you guys continue to win on your home court.
I think it's just more fun. You know, it's exciting. It's great for the community. It's great for the school. It's great for our team to get a chance to play in front of their peers when they can't come on the road and watch a playoff game. So last year we were fortunate. We had a nice little fan bus that would come and support us, but it should just be a fun and exciting atmosphere, and we do play well at home.
And Shelby, can you talk a little bit to that in terms of playing at home? You know, again, it's your first year, but now you've gone on the road, you've played at some of these places, and when you come home, you guys seem to play very well when you're on your home court.
It's just a different atmosphere. Like, obviously, when you're on the road or whatever, like, you're not going to have as many fans. Like, there'll always be fans there, but once you're home, like, everyone's there, like, supporting you and whatnot. It's just, like, a lot more fun.
Mandy, take us through these last couple of games here. First, Bethel. We won that one. 65-56 was the final score.
Yeah.
But the last several games up until the St. Ben's game on Wednesday, kind of a slow first half before kind of correcting things and really getting going in the second half. And so your thoughts on that Bethel win, 65-56?
It was a nice win for us. You know, Bethel is a very young team, and Jeff Stone's dad said it right in that they were going to be one of those teams that was going to struggle early on because of their youth and just continuously improve throughout the season, and they've been playing very well. And that's the beauty of this league. You have to be ready to go every single game regardless of a team's record, and sometimes it's hard to do that when you play 3 games a week. And, you know, with our Bethel game, we were coming off of, I think, was that 2 games after our Concordia loss?
Yes.
You know, so you get up for a big game, you're playing the team that's sitting #1 in the conference, and you know that if you beat them, you're going to be in that #1 spot, and it was a letdown, and it's hard to get that mental preparation to come back and be ready for McAllister and Bethel, or for the next game for that matter. And we had slow starts against both of those teams, but found a way in the second half to come back and compete and play our game.
As you prepare for Saturday's regular season finale against Augsburg, what will you tell the players? Because, excuse me, you're in that same boat again. You're coming off a very emotional win against St. Benedict, coming against a team that, you know, there's going to be a lot of fanfare in terms of senior day. How do you tell the team, how do you keep them focused on getting the job done and not looking ahead like I do to next week in the playoffs?
I don't know. We'll just keep talking about playing our best. That's been kind of the thing that our coaching staff and our leaders talk about, is just playing it 1 game at a time. And it's a big game because if we win and Concordia loses, we're in a 3-way tie for the regular season champs. And I think that's big enough to play for, or at least to put us in the position to have that opportunity. And, you know, we play 1 possession at a time. We want to be as successful as we can and get better every single day, every single game, every single practice. So that's our focus, you know, even with 1 game left.
Can you talk a little bit, this is your 6th season. You know, when you first started here, a lot of times your team was the team looking to kind of be the spoiler, or kind of be that team to knock off the top teams. Well, you've created this team that now is one of those top teams. Is it different in terms of preparation? Because everybody's trying to knock you guys off now. Nobody takes you for granted. You're not a surprise to anybody. You're one of the best teams in the league.
Is it different? Yeah, you know, it's a lot different. But I really haven't, in my 6 years here, ever prepared different for a game based on whether we were struggling or playing very well. You know, I guess just trying to set a tone that you have to get ready for every single game, and I don't think that you do need to prepare differently. You have to make sure that, you know, I think it was Coach F's dad always says, never too high, never too low. We need to find a way to be in that middle spot so that we can play well all the time, and that's what we'll continue to do, regardless if we're the team to beat or, well, we don't ever want to be back where we were, you know. But
right. Shelby, talk about your transition from high school now to playing college basketball for one of the top teams in the conference. How has that transition been, and what has been the biggest adjustment for you?
Well, high school, obviously, like everyone, like you're going into college, like you're the school or the star in high school, and then you come to college and you have to work for your spot and whatnot. And I've definitely like improved like as a player, and I feel like as a person, like I've just seen the court better and everything like that, like just like the whole game overall.
You know, Coach, it's kind of interesting. We're having Shelby on because she kind of hit on, you know, as you start as a freshman, you're kind of learning the ropes in terms of a, you know, a college basketball player. Now you've got, you know, 4 seniors who will be playing their final regular season game on Saturday and senior day in Brittany Begowitz and Jess Stone and Courtney Athnos and Jamie Steffley. Can you talk a little bit about those 4, what they've really brought to this team and how they've progressed from their freshman year to seniors this year?
I can make a list right now. You know, I mean, it's been phenomenal because in the little senior salutes that Donny has us do, I use the word perseverance with that group. Just because Jamie Steffley was someone who didn't play at all her freshman year. Brittany played her freshman year. Jess Stone played her freshman year. Courtney Athnos, I don't think, got a lot of minutes until her junior year. You know, and they've believed in this program and each other, and hopefully our younger classmen right now, or underclassmen right now who aren't seeing a lot of minutes, can see the benefits of sticking with a program and working hard, because you know that perseverance has been phenomenal for our team, and the improvements that they've made. You know, Jess Stone's learned to relax and make better decisions. Jamie Steffley's gotten more physical and become a better defender. Brittany and Courtney both went through ACL injuries, Brittany's sophomore year, Courtney's freshman year, and they had to sit and watch. You know, and every year Brittany Begowitz has struggled with some sort of an injury, and she never gives up and she keeps playing. So that's been extremely enjoyable for our coaching staff, just to watch them continue to work and set that sort of an example for our program, because it's not every day that you have leaders, regardless of their role, regardless of what they're doing on the court, that will be the loudest cheers on the bench, even if they're not playing. And it's been awesome, and hopefully our underclassmen can appreciate that and see that.
You know, I think one of the neat things about those 4 too is as talented as they are on the basketball court. All 4 of them are outstanding players, but they're great individuals too. And you know, just to kind of see the interaction before games and whatnot, they're pretty laid back. They're having fun. You can tell that they enjoy the game. But more importantly, when that opening tip starts, boy, they're ready to go, and they're focused on basketball.
Yeah, they're all very different personality-wise, which has been really interesting. And I think that's why they are such good leaders, is because they're all so different. You know, Brittany's really quiet, at least in front of me, and through the recruiting process. Jamie's Jamie. It's hard to explain her. You know, she's kind of steady Eddie personality-wise. Jess Stone is all over the place, talks a million miles an hour.
No.
Yeah, she is. Courtney Athnos has quite the personality. She's hilarious. You know, so it's been fun. But then you're right, when they get on the court, they're fierce and they're ready to go, and they communicate, and they want to win. They love playing in big games, and I don't know, it's just been fun to watch the 4 of them come together as a group and lead this team.
Mandy, as coaches, you and Jenna, I know you're focused during the game. Do you ever get the chance, like the rest of us who are watching either as fans or broadcasters or whatever, do you ever get the chance to just enjoy how much fun they seem to be having on the court? I have talked to so many people. Their one comment over and over, I've heard this from the community, I've heard this from other people in school, what a fun team to watch. They work hard. They seem like they're having fun. They have sort of that steady personality. They're very likable players. Do you ever get a chance to just kind of sit back and enjoy that and not get too consumed with focusing on coaching and making sure you're winning the game?
Unfortunately, no. You know, with coaching, I become a little bit of a perfectionist, which isn't always good for them. Because, you know, we see all the little things, and I do need to learn how to relax, and that's one thing that I've learned throughout my coaching career, is relax. People are going to make mistakes, but we know the potential that every single player has on this team, and you know, especially defensively, because we are very good this year on the defensive side of things, we're very picky about every little thing. And Fortunately, that's what I see. When I go back and I watch film, you know, after the game, then I enjoy it.
Right,
but during the game, I'm probably a little too focused.
Well,
Shelby,
whatever you're doing,
good or
it's
bad, I
making
don't know.
things fun for the rest of us. just so
Absolutely,
you know.
good.
no question. Shelby, kind of a tough question for you, going back to the seniors and how far they've come. They've kind of raised that bar in their 4 years to a spot now, like I said, where you're one of the feared teams in the conference. How do you, as an underclassman, and how do your younger teammates, how do you continue to keep that bar there, or even raise it a little bit higher?
I mean, you can look at them and just kind of like take on their role. Like, I don't know, like once they're like gone next year and whatnot, like, I don't know, people have to like step up and like just be leaders.
All right, one final question here. Whether the playoff game is Tuesday or Thursday, we'll have that game right here on HBC-TV 25, and encourage certainly to come out and enjoy all of the activities with the women's basketball team. Mandy, as you look forward now to Saturday's final regular season game against Augsburg, that of course is senior day. It's also Parents' Day. That'll be a 1 o'clock start. But then beyond Augsburg, what is it yet that where you'd still like to see some improvement as you head into the conference tournament?
You know, I think the biggest thing is, and we continue to improve on these two things, rebounding every single possession and finishing. We have a tendency sometimes to miss a few layups. So if we could just get better at finishing and keep rebounding. We held St. Ben's to 5 offensive rebounds last night. If we can do those two things and continue to play great defense, we should make a pretty good run here. But I mean, we gotta buckle down and do those things.
All right, Mandy Pearson, Shelby Auseth, thanks for being on the show. Good luck Saturday and
Thank
as
you.
you head into the playoffs. Okay, stay tuned. Donnie and I will be right back to talk about the rest of St. Mary's athletics this past week right here on HBC-TV 25.
Winona Homes was offered a deal from another company.
I switched to another company because they made some promises and I was going to get a better rate, so I switched.
But when she tried their deal, she ran into some issues.
The other company that I was with wasn't local. You couldn't even get somebody to come to your office.
At HBC, customer service is our #1 priority for your business. Let's just say Jenny is a lot happier now.
I have never had such fast customer service.
To see how HBC can help your business, call Melanie at 474-5802. So you know how some cable companies have these bundle deals where if you purchase their TV, telephone, and internet together, you save? At HBC, we're taking it one step further. Get your TV and phone service through HBC, and we'll give you internet absolutely free. That's right, free. And you still save money. Some packages can save you up to $660 a year, and it's all backed by our 30-day guarantee. The best part? Free internet is available to all customers, new and existing. Go to hbci.com to see which free internet package is right for you, or call 888-474-9995.
You know, we're doing things in bus magazines and the newspapers and things like that, and it's just like we seemed like we needed a different media, and we thought, you know, TV, perfect. Laura, she is awesome. She came out the first time. She was very, very personable, tends to your needs. I mean, anything that you needed, she was right there. I literally, seriously, have been wanting to make more commercials just because it was such a great, fun process. I would recommend HBC to anybody.
Call Laura for details on how to get a free commercial for your business.
And we're back here to wrap things up on the Cardinals Nest as we take a look at the other teams and athletics at St. Mary's University this past week. Before we move on, though, from women's basketball, I want to touch on the fact, Donnie, that they have over 20 wins now this season. Not only are they in the conference tournament, still within the realm of possibility to get a number 2 seed, even though the likelihood is they'll be a number 3 seed. But regardless of where they fall, this has been, you know, in several aspects, kind of a record-setting year for this team.
Yeah, you know, it was great having Mandy on again, and you know, anytime we can talk about her program and what she's done for St. Mary's basketball, I think it needs to be noted. And one of the things that she certainly wouldn't touch on, even if we asked her, was just the fact that, you know, they are 20-4, and you know, for this team to have 20 wins, it's the most under her in her 6 years. Heck, it's the most since 1985-86 when St. Mary's went 24-3 and made it to the NCAA regional, and that's a long time ago. So I think a lot of credit. You know, we certainly have to tip our caps to every single player on this team. They all have a role in what they've accomplished thus far, but I think you need to you know, to give kudos to the coaching staff, Coach Freudenberg, Coach Basie and Coach Pearson. You know, for them to be 20-4 right now is an outstanding accomplishment. And I sure wish I could tell you where we're going to play and when we're going to play, but you know, there's just so much up in the air still. Right now, we're tied for second place with St. Thomas. St. Thomas closes out its season against St. Catherine, while we close out against Augsburg. If we stay tied with St. Thomas wins the tiebreaker over us because of the second MIAC tie-breaking criteria, which is how you did against teams above you in the standings. That's Concordia. St. Thomas split against Concordia, and we were swept by Concordia. So that's how that tiebreaker would unfold. And you know, should like Coach Pearson said, should Concordia stumble against Gustavus, we'd be one of the teams that would share the conference title. Should we beat Augsburg, and if St. Thomas stumbles against St. Catherine on Saturday and we win against Augsburg, we would be the number 2 seed. We would get a bye on Tuesday, and then we would host on Thursday. Either way, however anything works out, we're at home on Tuesday or on Thursday.
Well, and Donnie, we mentioned the 20 wins, and as you said as well, just 4 losses. And what I think is important to point out, none of those losses are bad losses. 2 of them are to league-leading Concordia. Another one is to second place St. Thomas. And then the other one is to Gustavus, another team that will be in the conference postseason tournament.
Absolutely.
And that was on the road at Gustavus.
No question.
Not one bad loss. They
Yep.
won every single game they should have won or were expected to win, and even upset a team or 2 along the way as well.
Yeah, and you know, if you look at, and the thing that people forget, and it's easy to forget when we start winning like this, but you know, you take St. Benedict. We've now beaten St. Ben's 4 straight times. Prior to last year, we hadn't beaten them in 15 years. So, you know, it just shows, again, how much Coach Pearson has really brought that program up. And I think that this senior class, when they get honored on Saturday for Senior Day, really deserve a lot of recognition. They've been the nucleus that has really brought this team back to where, you know, back to prominence in the conference. And you know, hopefully they all can sit back after maybe the national championship and look at this season and say, you know, this was really a great year, and I was glad to be a part of it.
All right, Donnie, let's look at men's basketball now, as their offense struggling a little bit with Evan Peterson sidelined with an injury. They lost last week to Bethel and then to St. John's on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking off camera, and losing Evan Peterson certainly hurts the men. You know, he's kind of their spark plug, and that's certainly not a knock on anybody. You know, that's trying to fill those shoes. And Brian Thomas is really doing a great job of that. You know, he had 14 points against McAllister last week, so he's doing a very nice job. But Evan was such an important cog in that machine, and for him to go down with a freak injury at practice certainly makes it tough for the Cardinals, and they'll close out their year on Saturday, and it'll be Senior Day for them as well, and they graduate 5 seniors. So Coach Landrum will have some holes to replace, and you know, one of the biggest hole that he's got to replace is Mike Burfine, and you know, it's going to be sad to see him go. 1,000-point scorer over his career, and you know, has been a force inside for St. Mary's for 4 years, and you know, he add Joe Murray and Brian Thomas and Tom Gores and Josh Bennett to that mix. Those 5 seniors are you know, you're gonna feel that when they're not in the lineup next year.
Well, and one of the bright spots coming back for St. Mary's, yes, they lose Burfine and then the other seniors that you mentioned, but I don't think there's any question that there's a lot of excitement over Will Swigum in this program. His leaping ability, we've talked about, his rebounding ability, but he's really developing into being a scorer. Not overly consistent yet, but you can see it. There are flashes of it, and he was the team leader again against St. John's.
Yeah, you have 12 points against St. John's, and you hit it on the head. I think that this has been a great learning experience for Will, and just that, you know, what it takes to be a good college basketball player. And I think that an off season in the weight room and doing a collegiate off season program is going to do nothing but help him. And I think that he's certainly made a name for himself as a freshman. I wouldn't be surprised if next year, you know, teams are going to be very, very worried about having to try and figure out a way to stop him, because he's a force on the boards. There's no question about that, and he's proving that he can be the leader when it comes to offensive scoring too. So he's going to be a great individual for 3 more years. You've got Mark Schumacher coming back. He's had a solid year in his freshman campaign. So you know, Coach Landrum's got some pieces there once he figures out how to replace the ones that are graduating, which you do every year, and we talk about that every time you have a coach here, you always have to replace those that are graduating. But I think he's got some good players in place, and hopefully Evan can recover from his knee injury, and he'll be back to full strength next year. Those three individuals will certainly be a nice way for them to a good foundation for them to build off of.
You know, Donnie, we haven't had much of a chance here on the Cardinals Nest to talk about men's tennis, but they are off to a terrific start, 3-0, and we really saw this coming a little bit late last year where they started winning games. They have a lot of returning players, and they had another big non-conference win over the weekend.
Yeah, they had 3 of them last weekend, beat Wisconsin Lutheran and Concordia, Wisconsin 9-0, and then they beat Carroll College 5-4. I talked to Coach Hallberg today, and very, very happy about the start of the season. And you're right, they're a very experienced team. You've got Mike Lunka and Bobby Steingraber and Sam Puff in your top 3 spots in the lineup. Bobby and Michael are 2-time all-conference performers. Those two team up. They're a phenomenal doubles team. They're 23-2 in their last 25 matches in doubles. They had a couple more wins this weekend. A great start to them. Now the road gets extremely difficult because they open up conference play on Friday against Carleton, and then they go to Gustavus on Saturday. The 2 top teams in the conference picked in the coaches poll, and they open up against them this weekend, one after the other. So it's a big weekend for them, and it'll be good to see how they stack up against the conference's best.
Yeah, and I would imagine Coach Hallberg, you have to play him sometime, right? Get him out of the way early, and then you learn from that, because chances are down the road that's about as good as you're going to face.
Absolutely,
right?
and when you play Gustavus, that is as good as you're going to face. When they've won the conference title the last 24 years, they're picked to win it again this year, so that will be 25 in a row. I mean, they're just a juggernaut, and I think you really hit it on the head. Let's get the top teams, let's play them, let's see where we're really at, and hopefully learn from that and move forward. And I know that that's what they're going to do.
Well, Gostomski Fieldhouse was very busy last weekend. The Cardinal Open for indoor track and field. It's the one home meet that we're able to host at St. Mary's. And how did the Cardinals do?
They did very well. I think Coach McMahon was pretty excited about the performance, and more than anything, I think it was it was just nice to see everybody compete at home. As Coach McMahon says, it's just great that they get a chance to be home and compete on their home turf, and it was great to see some really solid performances. You're watching Coco Booker here, and then her sister Maya there with the weight throw, and a very good day all around, and hopefully that will continue as they head to Stevens Point this weekend.
Real quick, Donnie, I've got to ask, what's your role during one of these Cardinals Opens, and how do you perform it if you've got to keep track of all of these different events, some of which are going on at the same time?
I kick back and watch it just like we're doing right now. Most of the results are done. We hire a group out that does the results, so I get to watch just like everybody else.
Well, and it is fun to watch because you have different schools coming, and Winona State was a part of this one as well. So fun to watch it. I've been able to see this in the past. I wasn't able to catch this year's, and it really is just to see all the different events going on at once. And finally, Donnie, swimming and diving, they are in the MIAC Championships as we speak.
Yep, big weekend for them.
All the athletes up there.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Lindquist last week, and it's a big weekend for the Cardinals. They've got 3 days of competitive swimming here at the MIC Championships, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Mark Ross does. It's his last chance up there to really make some noise, and hopefully he can do a great job up there. And it's a busy weekend for us here at St. Mary's. We've got both basketball teams on Friday night, and we've got hockey playing Concordia both nights. On the men's side, senior night is Friday night. They'll graduate 5 seniors as well, just like we talked about with the men's basketball team. So an important weekend for them. They've still got playoff implications. They've got to sweep Concordia this weekend and hopefully get a little bit of help. But the race is right there for them. They've just got to take care of their own business, and things should be good.
Great. We'll touch on men's hockey again next week right here on the Cardinals Nest on HBC.